You know, I've been thinking a lot about the Facebook algorithm. And I thought I wanted to make a video about it. So I turned on my camera tonight after being in the city all day, and I decided to talk about this, right? And I was looking through YouTube to see if I could find some videos, and the first thing I saw was Peter McKinnon talking about the algorithm tonight. And so anyway, I was thinking about it today when I was taking the train down. Today I had an appointment to see my kinesiologist, and if you're not familiar with what that is, it's kind of an alternative medical practitioner. It's like Eastern medicine. It's the way I live, and I've been seeing this guy for many, many years, and I've been having some issues over the last year and a half that I haven't really talked about much with anybody in my life because, frankly, they were scaring me. And it was some stuff that I've never experienced before, and I couldn't wait to get to this guy. The only problem was he's really hard to make an appointment with. It took me 8 months to see him. And so I've gone to other doctors, I've done other things, and this has nothing to do with the Facebook algorithm. So I'm sorry. But anyway, I got to see him. I'll get to that in a minute. But I was going down on the train today, and took my camera with me, obviously, because I always take my camera with me, because I think I said this in a video the other day, that since I started working with cameras, I have literally not had a day of my life where I didn't shoot something with my camera. Literally, not one day of my whole life. You know, it's kind of like when I used to play the guitar professionally, I used to tell myself, at least touch the guitar at least once a day. Like, you have to pick it up and play something every day. Even if you can't practice properly or you don't have a gig or whatever, you must touch it. And I feel the same way about the camera. Like, pick it up every day, shoot something, practice something, practice your white balance, your ISO, your exposure, whatever, your composition, most importantly, your foreground, your background. Like, get your brain to think about making a beautiful image every single time you pick up the camera. And don't overthink it. Like, you got to kind of get to the point where you overthink it for a while and then you throw it all away and just shoot. And so I took the camera with me today and I just shot, I shot. And one thing that was really cool is the window of the train worked as like this cool filter. So it looks like an old 16 millimeter camera or something. Like, it's really kind of like the highest level of a black Promus filter or something like that. And I also had an ND filter on. So what does this have to do with the algorithm? I was thinking today that I don't really have a point to this video tonight. Like, I shot all this footage and I want to share it, but I don't want to just make up, I don't want to just connect it to a video that it has nothing to do with. So I'm making this video, which it has everything to do with, because it was my travels today. And it inspired what I was thinking about, And so I want to include this footage with what I'm thinking right now, today, in this moment, which is YouTube videos that are purposeful, that are intentional, that we try to get people to watch. Like, I saw this guy on today who kind of analyzed the algorithm, and he said something that really resonated with me, which was, we're trying to make people happy, right? Like, when people watch your video, if they're happy, if it makes them feel good, chances are they're going to come back. And YouTube is trying to make people happy. They're trying to send you something that makes you feel good. And if you're like, oh, I like that, you watched it for a certain amount of time or whatever, they're going to send it back to you. Now, I guess watch hours don't matter as much, because you could certainly watch something for a long time that pisses you off, that after you watch it, you never want to see it again and you never want to think about it again. And so it's kind of a complicated algorithm. But the other thing I was thinking about today was the juxtaposition of how beautiful everything looked out the window. I was going down the Hudson River. I moved upstate about 2 years ago. And so I left my beloved New York City, which I'd lived in most of my life. But I always enjoy going back, even though it doesn't feel like my city anymore. It's changed so much, and that's a whole other video. But like, you feel how you feel about the place that you came from. Like, it'll always feel like my home, And I was looking out the window and I was thinking about, how beautiful everything looked out this window and how excited I was to go downtown and how opposite that was from what I was thinking about today, which was the state of the world, you know, the Middle East, Maine, gun control, like all the stuff, climate change. I'm always preoccupied with oppression, racism, misogyny. Like I always think about that kind of stuff. But, you know, being an artist is really cool for me because it allows me to be involved in happy things and beautiful things while I'm still preoccupied with that, and put all that together in an interesting kind of way. But I'm wondering, does that help me with the algorithm? Because I haven't had much luck with the algorithm. And when I do have a video that kind of does well, I mean, doesn't do well compared to somebody like Peter McKinnon, but when I get a video that has 1,500 views or 1,700 or something like that, as opposed to the average of like 150 that I have, I don't know why that happened. And I'm taking my thumbnails a little bit more seriously, and I'm taking my titles a little bit more seriously, because I'm trying to think of YouTube as more of a business. You know, like there are rules to how to do this. There are levels to this. There are steps to do it properly, to do it well. And that will reward you with the algorithm, including you in more places around the world. And that's what we want, right, as artists. You know, whether you're just a YouTuber doing silly stuff or a real artist, you know, showing your plays or your theater work or your filmmaking or whatever you're doing, if you consider yourself an artist, what you want is the biggest possible audience, right? You want to reach as many people as possible. You want the entire world. That would be your choice, that everybody see my work, right? Anybody who says anything else is lying. You want people to receive the work that you're creating, because making art is all about sharing. It's about connecting. It's about bringing people together. And I believe that's what the algorithm is about as well. It's about connecting you to as many people as possible. But if you don't earn it, you're not going to get that. And you might think, oh, I'm awesome, I'm great, it's the algorithm's fault. But, you know, as Peter McKinnon said, it's your fault. It's my fault. But I don't like the word fault. It just is. Because of your approach, because of my approach, because of the way we do things. So anyway, I went in there today and I'm walking around the city and I'm seeing all this life around me, and it's New York City, you know, and stuff's going on, and I'm thinking about the algorithm, and I'm thinking, will this put me in a place like a lot of people are interested in New York City. They love the Chrysler Building. They love the Empire State Building. They love to see things on the street. They love, you know, like the workers on the streets, you know, pushing things and making food. And this kind of stuff is interesting to anybody who's ever heard of New York City, right? And also they're interested in landmarks, bridges, things like that, you know, graffiti. I mean, and then you can add to it all the movement that you have in the city, you know, where you're like going by the train tracks, you see things flying by when you're riding on the train, or just walking by people and you see people walking by you. There's a lot of movement. People are interested in this. So is this going to drive the algorithm for me? I don't know about that. But I decided to turn my camera on tonight because I turn my camera on every day. Because I'm practicing, because even this shot right here, I set it up to make it look interesting, you know? Like I have a light that's just out of the frame that you can't see. I set up these lights behind me. I tried to create a little bit of contrast that looks pretty cool. I'm more into a dark, moody kind of cinematic look, but it looks more like filmmaking than, you know, like me doing a review of a lens or something like that. Like this is, I think, more interesting in my opinion. But is this going to help me drive the algorithm? Is what I did today going to help me drive the algorithm? I decided to give it a shot and see what happens. I'm going to think hard about my thumbnail. What would be interesting? I'll probably add text to it, which I never do. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to really think about the title. I'm going to think about SEO, because I don't even know what that means really, but I'm trying to learn. And I'm trying to get into this algorithm because I want the most people possible to see my work. Like I want people to be interested in this channel so that when they see that I finished a movie, they're like, I got to go watch that guy's film. Or if they see that I'm doing a theater piece and I happen to show up in their city, they're like, I got to go to the theater. That would honor me, that you're going to the theater. Maybe I'm the reason that you finally go to the theater for the first time in your life. Or even better, if you're a theater goer and you love the theater and you go to a million plays and then you grace me with your presence, that's an honor, that's a privilege. That you spent your money, and more importantly, you took your time and you gave it to me to allow me to give you this offering of my work. I think the algorithm can help me with that. But also, I know that it's important for me to not just look at YouTube as, something that's not as important as everything else that I do, because I'm asking for your time. I'm asking for you to stop for a moment and watch what I do. So if I can't give you something of value, if I can't give you something that makes you feel good, the algorithm is not going to reward me unless I make the effort to contribute, to give, to offer you something from me. And so, yeah, it was cool today. I went down to see my kinesiologist. He helped me out. I found out I have Lyme disease, but it's under control. I'm going to be cool. I've been having these weird things going on with my body. I've been an athlete my whole life, and that has paid off because it has allowed me to manage this pain and this weird neurological stuff that I've been going through for the last almost 2 years, just because I'm in great shape. But it's been taking me down a little bit, I have to admit. But I'm so excited and so optimistic now that I'm going to have this under control, because I've been through worse. I've been through a lot worse. So I'll get this under control. I'm not even worried about it. It's just good to know, because I'm a writer. I'm a creative. And so I was writing these horrific stories about what might have been going on in my body. And I feel much better now. I mean, I've been running this whole time too. I just plow through. But I want to feel better than I've been feeling. So is this going to drive the algorithm? Do you care about that? Does that make a difference to you? I think when we're personal with one another, that helps, because art, whether it's on YouTube or in the theater or in a film, or if you're a painter or a dancer or a sculptor or whatever you do, it's all about coming together, connecting, having an exchange, a conversation, some type of a conversation with one. Sorry about that. My memory card died or ran out of space, so I deleted a few things and I'm back. So let me finish this. Thinking about the algorithm, I think it's all about contributing. It's all about doing work that, as I've said in the past, ain't all about you. Think about what you can provide for people. Think about what you can give, what you have to offer that make people want to come to your channel, make people want to come back, where they feel like they're getting something out of the deal. They're not just doing you a favor by hitting your like button or subscribing. And it would be awesome if you would subscribe, by the way. And it would be awesome if you would hit the like button, because that helps the algorithm. But, I thought a lot about it today. And so it's fun because I get to share all this beautiful footage that I got today, or I think it's beautiful because it felt beautiful to me today to shoot it. And I get to talk about this, and I get to not think about all the horrible things going on in the world right now, and just talk to you like we're a community, which I just started my Patreon community. I'm really, really preoccupied over the last couple of days with community, with activism, with connecting, with really coming together with people. Because with all this horrific stuff that's going on in the world, it's kind of making me feel like I want to withdraw a lot of the time. And I don't want to do that. I want to be connected. So I'm going to even double down on the work that I've always done anyway, which has always been activism based and always been work that's based on, in my opinion, meaningful things. But I'm doubling down and recommitting. And even including that here on YouTube, that everything that I do here, I'm not going to do anything that's nonsensical. I'm going to do everything that, is intending to connect with you in a way that brings us together, that makes us think together, that inspires dialogue. It doesn't mean that we're going to agree on everything, and you might disagree. A lot of people disagree with a lot of stuff that I think, because, I'm pretty no-nonsense, black and white kind of person. I don't feel like a lot of things going on in the world right now are complicated at all, personally. But I'll get to that in another video. But I'm going to approach this the same way I approach my playwriting or my film, screenwriting, my acting, all of it. I'm going to approach it all with the same kind of seriousness and respect, because it deserves that. And I don't think that I've been doing that all the time. I mean, I always have respect and I try to honor the craft all the time, but I think this YouTube thing is a little bit more, it deserves a little bit more attention than I've been giving it. And I'm going to do that. And so I hope you stay around, and I hope you see that I'm doing that. And let me know if I'm not. Hold me accountable. So thanks for watching. This is going to run out of room on my memory card again, so I'm going to end this now. And I'm getting to that point where I'm getting sick of hearing my own voice. So that must mean I've said enough. So thank you. And and for those who care, Panasonic S5, the original Minolta 28mm f2.8. However, I'm shooting in APS-C mode right now just for fun. So it's actually like a 42mm lens. And I'm shooting with ISO 4000 because I'm using my ND filter because I wanted to shoot at f4. I didn't want to go to f2.8. I wanted f4. I wanted a little bit more room with my focus. And so, how does it look? I bet you it looks pretty good. I'll see you next time. All right.